Today, we're going to be talking about subconscious blocks that may be stopping you from ending the affair relationship you're in with a married man. Firstly, I want to talk about fear because fear is a significant one, and you're going to have a lot of fear coming from many different angles. But the first one that I want to talk about is the fear that things will get messy if you end it. And if things are going to get messy, which is there's probably a high likelihood that things can get messy, you have every right to feel like you want to hold back on ending it because it's unsafe to end it. In a healthy relationship, when there is a desire for an ending, although it's so painful, what you really want to feel is to feel seen, understood, validated in your desire to end it. This isn't a fair dynamic. He's married. There is all of these complications going on. And so you have every right to want to end this relationship. And if you cannot be met with compassion, understanding in terms of what you seek in a relationship and that not being met right now, then this is emotionally unsafe. And although it stops you from ending it, it's also the catalyst that should mean that you should end this relationship because you don't want to be in a relationship where you feel unsafe to be able to express your truth. Now, it's gotten to a point where you are at the very end of the relationship and trying to express your truth and feeling unsafe in expressing it. But in a healthy relationship, you want to know that in all moments, I can express myself and I can know that I can be safe to be able to express myself, and that person will be able to receive me, even if it's uncomfortable for them on the receiving end, that they will be able to hear you out and understand where you're coming from and have a desire to understand where you're coming from. Number two out of the 9 signs is emotional dependency. In these experiences, your affair partner can become a big source of validation, a big source of him really boosting you up. Often, in these dynamics, I see a lot of pedestaling where either you're raising him above and really feeling like, wow, he is someone so special. And he can be, but you also may be seeing that he too is boosting you up in a way that feels so good. You feel seen and valued more than you ever have before. And what happens here is then if we're going to break up with this person, we then feel like we lose all of that validation. No one can see me like he can see me. And so if you cut that relationship, then you feel unseen, invalidated in life, and that is lonely. It's isolating. It brings a lot of grief because what we deeply desire is to be seen. And this is a consistent pattern that I see show up in these affair dynamics is this feeling of being unseen in life and not having people fully be there for you. And so when someone is there for you more than ever, and I know it's an affair dynamic, so he can't be there for you, but in the moments that he is there for you, it feels like he is there more than ever. It can be greatly unsettling to then detach from someone who has been your biggest supply and source of validation and worth. Number three is isolation. Because the dynamic of this relationship is secrecy, it's infidelity, there is a big amount of isolation going on. And so over time, especially if this relationship has spread over a number of years, you begin then to have less emotionally intimate relationships with your friendships because you cannot share everything about what you're going through. If you can't share your biggest hurdles in life with the closest people in your life, then you are isolating yourself from those relationships. And so, what happens in these dynamics is because it's a secret, if you end this relationship, you're isolated from the world, from family, from friends, from loved ones. And so To end this will then mean that you're going through this alone. Now, we can absolutely look at, okay, how can we bolster these relationships so that you do have support while going through this? And this is a really important thing to look at so that you do feel supported. It can be a difficult conversation to navigate because often in these dynamics, people go greatly unreceived. And so you don't feel properly held and understood in this experience. And so you have every right to feel isolated and lonely, which brings us to the next one, actually, which is loneliness. But let's stick with isolation for a moment. You have probably detached from some significant relationships in your life, and not intentionally detached, but over time, because of the nature of this affair dynamic, you have been drawn away from these emotionally intimate relationships. It's a big thing. If you are going through a breakup, and you have no one to lean on, then often we then resort to wanting to lean on our affair partner, and that's going to keep you stuck in the relationship. So loneliness, as I said, is one that not only is felt in this affair experience a great deal, but one that has often been felt for a lot of you going through this experience in times before the affair relationship. Your affair partner came into your life and actually made you feel loved and seen in ways that you had never felt before. And it bridged this feeling of loneliness for a period. And yet, if you end this relationship, you're not only feeling loneliness because of the breakup, but it's triggering deeper seated emotional wounds of loneliness that has been felt from periods way before the affair ever happened. Number 5 is feeling responsible for his emotional well-being. This one kept me stuck in the affair relationship probably from day one. It was always feeling a need to be able to support him and his emotions and feeling responsible for his experience in life. And so I would neglect myself. And the biggest thing that I just want you to look at is in you supporting his emotional well-being, what does that then do to you? Often it comes at a significant price to your own emotional well-being. That's not healthy. That's not loving. We have to put ourselves first in this. And I understand that it's so painful to honor yourself when you see someone else hurting. We're empaths, we're people that really deeply care about others. And so when you see someone hurting, we want to immediately put the needs of them first. But it is really time to stop putting the needs of others above yourself. Number 6 is an important one for those of you who have been financially tied into this experience, whether it is in the workplace, and if you leave your affair partner, does it then disrupt the health and the flow and the ease of your workplace? A lot of you do then ask, how can I maintain my job in a way or the boundaries in a way with my affair partner when we have broken things off, but we do work closely together? And it is a conversation that we really need to tailor to each individual. Some, it is really best to honor yourself and look elsewhere so that you're completely cutting clean and starting afresh without having to constantly interact with someone that you have deep emotional ties to. And then others, this just isn't a case that we can do this. And so then it's about how can we support you with boundaries so that you're not continuously falling in a hole, or being disrespected, or maybe being led on, or the what I see is when things do end, the relationship dynamic is still leaky in a way that there's still some sort of leaning in at times, and then there's a leaning out, and this yo-yo has a significant impact on your emotions. And then financially, if you're not in a job but he is supporting you, this can happen. And so it becomes really difficult to then stand at a line of, okay, if I am going to fully cut ties in order to honor myself, then I'm going to lose this income that is coming in, or this way of supporting me, or these benefits or perks that he's giving me by being in this relationship. And these things do tie us in. It sounds like, okay, maybe I can just hold on and continue to receive these benefits and support him in the ways that he also needs supporting. It's kind of like, let's help each other out type dynamic. And yet, tune into your emotions because often you energetically are dying inside with this dynamic. And although it may sound like, okay, this can help boost my career or boost my savings or feed my family or whatever it is, we're then putting our emotional health on the line, our energetic health on the line, and it will keep us in these dynamics for so much longer than is healthy. At the end of the day, we can't compromise our emotional health. We cannot compromise our emotional health. As much as it sounds enticing or rewarding or exciting, or it will just help us get us over the line with whatever our goals are at hand, it will pay a price. It will pay a price. So for you, just one of the things that will help you with this is invite equal or greater opportunity into your life. Whether you have a really high paying job, invite an equally high paying job or a greater higher paying job into your life. If you're getting financial support, invite equal or greater income into your life. So be like, okay, by me detaching from him being my supply of these beautiful things or whatever it is, how can I invite that into my life without him being the source of that? Because while he is the source of that, we're remaining connected. The next one is unhealthy responses that will cause you to lean back in now, or maybe not even lean back in, but he leans back in. So notice where some of the unhealthy responses could be him guilt tripping, which is feeling like, but you've been my source of happiness for so long. If you leave, I won't be happy. Essentially, you're then feeling responsible for his happiness. Or he might be like, just hold on a little bit longer until my baby is born, and then I will be able to, like, this is going to be a tough period for me. So can you be there for me? Again, you're being responsible for his life, or he's making you responsible for his life. Other unhealthy responses could be him actually leaning back in. So then he's suddenly more there for you than he's ever been when you suddenly cut contact. And this is where the yo-yoing happens, is that he is absent and then you break things off and then he's fully leaning in again. This isn't healthy, and it can create maybe excitement in you that maybe we can go somewhere. But if you've had experienced this pattern time and time again, what you realize is it actually doesn't ever go anywhere. It's just a pattern of on, off, leaning in, leaning out, and that isn't serving to you. So notice where these unhealthy patterns show up, where suddenly you begin to gain your strength and start to emotionally detach from this relationship, and then he comes in, or he, yeah, notice these patterns and notice where they do pull you back into the relationship. Number 9 is where your self-worth has been cut down. Ultimately, these relationships are painful, and any breakup in itself is hard to go through, and our self-worth really gets rocked. But when it's an affair relationship, I really feel like it's a whole nother level. He is not choosing you and then choosing the wife, or maybe you're not necessarily choosing him, but then as soon as you end it, he just goes back to the wife or goes back to someone else. And so it feels like you're easily replaceable. And feeling replaceable is the worst thing to feel in terms of feeling unique and special and valued and loved in this world. We do not want to feel replaceable. We want to feel like someone special and that has these unique qualities and is someone to be cherished. And so when he can just go back to his wife or go back to another woman, it has a significant toll on your worth as a person. When we are at such an emotionally low self-worth place in our life, it is a lot harder to end things because we're disconnected from our strength. And the only real thing that I can offer here is there is a strength within you if you dig really deep. And you won't find that strength until you force yourself that I cannot do this anymore, and then the strength will rise. I remember going through this situation and I just felt cut to the ground. I had nothing. Like I just had nothing left. I was so low. I had no strength, no self-worth. And then suddenly, and there was just nothing in me to be able to end this, to be able to move through this, to be able to hold my emotions. And then suddenly, out of nowhere, I got this significant strength to be able to be like, I've got to move through this. And I was like, where did that come from? Because I had nothing. And so, what I would just leave you with is, although you feel at complete rock bottom, if it is a desire within you to be able to rise, we can help you to rise. So I hope that helps. It is not easy at all ending a long-term affair or a short-term affair with a married man that you have significant feelings or attachment to. If you do want support on ending it or finding out why you're so blocked or fearful from ending it, I'm here to support you. Know that you can still reach out to me without us having to take any significant action, but more come to a place of understanding of what is so painful in this. What are my fears on ending it, as opposed to you having to just face extreme discomfort in your life. So I hope that helps. Bye for now.